Today's Murli is drama and the detached observer. So the invisible living light, that royal, godlike, sweet, innocent, and childlike point of light is a visitor and an observer of the body, of the human personality, of the drama, of the script. Just the joyful and playful, intoxicated observer of all the story characters. A silent observer of all the story-based sanskars playing out. Everything that happened, it is part of that drama, the great story. And now shift the attention away from the story. Shift the attention away from human interaction and human dynamics, and shift it to the invisible, pure and playful beings of light. To that invisible dimension of golden silence and gentle light. And emerge in your mind the dimension of home. Timelessness and purity. And love and belonging fills the atmosphere of that dimension. Baba's presence And just tune into that bond of the innocent royal child, the living light, with the Father, a bond of love and respect, a bond of belonging forever, a bond of sweetness and recognition of each other's truth and beauty, invisible all, but very real. Pure, clean, refined, eternal. Nothing inauspicious ever can touch this reality. A world of invisible, royal, perfect beings of light. And allow the mind to experience this reality in an obvious way. And when in the home there are no thoughts of drama, no thoughts of bodies or bodily beings, just unearthly perfect, royal, invisible beings with angelic nature, like the Father, pure, peaceful, innocent, lovely, loving, immortal beings who know they are beyond death, beyond harm, that their home is forever, their world and their family and their Father is forever. Try and grasp that reality in an obvious way. This reality eternally exists. Just in body consciousness, one cannot access and cannot experience that reality. Om Shanti. But whilst going about, the light again travels into the drama, creates that awareness again, okay, home and family. We come to play. This is like the playing fields, the playground. But hold the awareness of home. Putting on a costume doesn't mean we have to forget the one who is putting on the costume. Coming to play the part, some Mickey Mouse, some Peter Pan, some Rona Swites. It is all same, some story character. Donald Duck. Quack, quack, quack. Thing on that call. You know, when they put on the costume in Times Square, sometimes you see they put on the costume, big duck walking around. But the one who is playing that is not the duck. So don't forget the self, not even the true self. There's only one self. Other is the part. So playing, talking, interacting is part of the game. Using the eyes, using the hands, is like the duck costume. Okay, so what were the three main points in today's Murli? Three highlights. Today's Murli. And then we'll go to the carelessness part from Sunday's Murli. One thing that almost every Sakar Murli reminds us of, even before soul, that God is teaching and that this is a study and this is a university, God's university. And the intoxication to realize that He is lots of things were there on. God is teaching you. It should be in your intellect. Who is the one who is giving us this knowledge? Lots of the Murli was around that. What was the other thing? So one thing is, because of the bhakti habit in devotion, we sacrifice physical things in a physical fire. Whatever, some gold, some coins, some seeds, or this habit, or even body is being sacrificed in some way. Here, Baba says no. It is not a physical sacrifice. Body remains. But with your intellect, you say, this body is not mine. This body is God's, and it is for God's task. So it will be used in the activities of God's task, God's yajna. Then you have surrendered this body with your intellect, through your understanding, not in a physical way that it chop off something or in kashi. So the sacrifice through the intellect means you have let go of the feeling of me and mine. You have given it to Baba. It is not, but it is not that you physically let this body die. You have died alive, means through the intellect, through understanding. He doesn't take away the body, but he says, okay, it is mine. You use it as a trustee, but a trustee uses it according to the, that is what a trustee means. It is entrusted to you not to do what you want, but to do what it is meant for, as opposed to the owners. And what is the principle of yajna? Why would we sacrifice in a yajna? Why would we give fire? You sacrifice to break this sense of I and mine, this ownership to it. And because of that, what is the karmic return of that? You will get it manifold purified in gold back to use. This is the rule of the game. This is the karmic law. And they say, if you want something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. This bit twisted, but this concept of more you get attached to something, more you lose it. More you let it go, it will follow you. They say if you run after the shadow, shadow runs away. If you go your own way, the shadow follows you. So more you get attached to things, more problems will be there. And more you will lose it, or you feel you lose it. More you feel is not mine, I don't need, more it will come. As if drama can trust you and wants to give you the best if you're not attached. More you are attached, more you will, first of all, you will be anxious because you know you can lose it, but also actually ultimately one will lose. So if you want a deity body, what you have to do? Use the Shudra body for the highest purpose and the highest actions, for the highest karma. Sacrifice it in God's yajna means you use it for God's task, for God's seva, for God's wisdom, with God's wisdom. Your time, same. Your intellect, same. Your intelligence, your skills, your talents, your relationships, connections. Don't chop it off and go in isolation like sannyasis, but use them to make their fortune in Baba's task. Then you will have the highest quality of relationships in the future. And there was one nice thing about study, Baba said. Why you want to study these Laukic, worldly studies? This is the highest study. This is God's study, and it is for life. So we have to learn to appreciate our spiritual wealth. More there is spirit, because the inner factors will produce the outer factors. There are people in this world who don't work, but who don't earn money, but they don't starve. And there are people who earn money but always feel they don't have and they don't have enough. So I'm not saying to not work, I'm not saying that. But this slavery to money and slavery to work, that is not right. Laziness is also not right. Some people are just lazy and careless and they don't want to. That's another thing. But the principle of wealth is one, there are several principles, no? To use everything that is there, to use it in a worthwhile way, as if you become worthy of receiving more. So if there are three sets of clothes and you use them accurately, with care, without vanity or without desires or wanting more, 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 there will always be food. One reason why poverty, hunger is there, because we do not appreciate every grain. Sometimes you see people throw away food. This is not the karma that generates wealth. Oh, I don't like this. I don't want to eat this. Then why will drama give you more? Hmm. So there are more aspects to this, to use what is there in God's task. You want money, for example. How much of the money that you get in hand do you use for God's task? If you have $10 and you spend 50 cents on God's task, then for what is the 950 used? You want to multiply? You want to get, then use it, everything, for that highest purpose. If this body is given to Baba, then Baba will take care. No? And so working for a Brahmin, working is not to make money. What is the purpose for Brahmins working? I'm going to serve. If you're on Baba's service, then Baba will make sure that there always is. But we have to experiment with this. This is the Iron Age mindset. I have to work, I have to earn money, I have to. Of course, we need to be independent for our bodily, what is it, sustenance. It's not that we now sit here in center whole day in Baba's room chanting Om, expecting food to come. Not like that. But it is an internal attitude. But we can talk about this another time. So keep it on the plate because it is very useful. The principles of wealth. Just wanted to touch on what Baba in Sunday's Murli said. Two powers that are needed. Um, Needed for not laboring, being lost in Baba's love, but he went a bit in depth on the power of realization. And what he said is you do realize, but you do not become the form of things. You do realize, you do understand, you know the knowledge, you have the points in your intellect, but you do not become the embodiment of it. And the reason was atmosphere, the Brahmin environment is not strong enough because we are making excuses, we are careless. So what are some forms of carelessness that you observe within yourself? Now, for example, just to give an example, Baba talks about immortality so often. Soul is immortal, soul is eternal, soul is immortal, soul is eternal. But still, we make such a big deal when a soul leaves body. And one thing is if you're in a locking environment, because then you're amongst lockings, of course, you have to be a bit more, what is it? Compassionate. But in a Brahmin environment, why do we have to make such a big deal about someone leaving a body? It means we understand, or we understand the knowledge, the information, but we haven't become the embodiment of it. One reason. There, Baba tells us about Amrit Vela, and the importance of Amrit Vela. Why is it still a struggle for some of us, or for every one of us at some time, at least? Why? We understand. Baba says, get up early in the morning. This is Baba's advice. We understand, Baba. This is God telling me. And he's not telling me do Amrit Vela except when this. Or somebody tells me, oh, Amrit Vela, my Amrit Vela is at 5:30. My Amrit Vela is at 5:30. Yeah, your Amrit Vela, but not Baba's Amrit Vela. And not to be nasty or condemn or to make fun of anyone. It's just for us, we all have this high aim. So more we are in line with Srimad, it helps everyone. So we listen to Murli, we know the points of knowledge, but we are not embodying it. And this is why there is no success. This is why also, you know, drama is still waiting for us. Everything is waiting for us because the golden age's souls are not ready yet for the golden age. So drama cannot shift. So, what are the reasons that block our fully imbibing Baba's words, Baba's advice, Baba's Srimad, Baba's Maryadas? Now, food is another area. There are so many areas, no? Food. Baba tells us. Yesterday's Murli was yesterday's Murli. Yogis eat food prepared by yogi hands in God's remembrance with those vibrations. How much am I able to fully accept that? And for whose benefit Baba is telling me that? For whose benefit is that? Does he get anything from it, what I eat or not eat? It doesn't matter to him any. He's not more or less because of it or because of not it. He's telling us for our own. So either I'm not realizing who is telling me this, or I'm not realizing that whatever he tells me is for my highest benefit. We call out to God, oh, come purify us, save us from sorrow, save us from sin, bring us to heaven. So we all want to go to heaven, but we don't want to let go of hell or lifestyle of hell or habits of hell. So way that carelessness is good to spot it. No? One different ways that carelessness emerge, these thoughts of Maya that come. Others also do this. Other Brahmins also do this. Even older Brahmins, old, long time Brahmins, senior Brahmins, they also do this. So, what is the antidote? Would Baba do this? What would Baba say? He doesn't say follow brother or sister. He says follow father. Hmm. The same thing is, this is going on all the time. It was always like that, and it will continue to always be like that. For myself, for others. There are only a few, and then one or two. It's always so, like this. But at some stage, one has to change. No? And even if something for you was always like that, is that a justification? If you do the things you always did, you will get the things you always got. So if you want to get something different, you have to do it different. Even if it has always been like this, and everybody does always like this, that is why you're in the condition you're in. So you want to shift that, do something different. What is another excuse? This is my habit, this is my nature. Since childhood, I was like this. This is not the deity nature. This is not the eternal nature of the soul. This is Ravan's nature. And yes, maybe in this birth I was born with this, but still it is Ravan's nature. It is not angelic nature. It's not deity nature. It's not God's child's nature. Hmm? Everybody else doing it also. What is the antidote for that? My friend, people who love me, my family, my children, my husband, they are all doing it. Brother Ananda saying, well, that doesn't mean it's right. But what is the antidote for that? One step, of course, it doesn't mean it's right. Who is my eternal husband? Who is my eternal husband? Whose child I am eternally? These, are they my children? Next birth, they may be your neighbors. Last birth, they may be strangers. They're not my children. And for anything, it is always useful to be Trikaldarshi. See the self, the true self, through the journey of the cycle. So, this, what Sharon was saying, this Maya's statement of Sharon, what is the antidote for that, Sharon? If it is in the drama, I will make effort. What is the antidote? One thing that helps me is if I'm hungry, I won't say, oh, if it is in the drama, I will eat. Or if it is in the drama, I will go home and sleep. If it is in the drama, I will have something to drink. I don't say like that. If it is in the drama, I will go take shower. You go take shower and put on the clothes. If it is in the drama, I will brush my teeth. You don't say like that. No? So, but you have to, you have to grasp the petty and silly nature of Maya and these excuses and be more, be ahead of Maya. Then you see how silly. Another way of carelessness is postponing things. postponing what is Shrimat, postponing Maryadas. If something is right, why should I wait till I'm 60 before I start doing it? But another way that carelessness comes is carelessness uses words that we dislike. And discipline is one of those words. We don't like the word discipline, no? So what is it? What is the antidote for that? So how can you help yourself? Because this is a illness of the Iron Age. No? There are certain words we are allergic to. And discipline is one of those words. Definitely in the Western world, and definitely in America, we don't like no discipline. We want to be free to do what I want, however I want, wherever I want, with whomever I want, for however long I want. So, how you shift that form of carelessness? Now, this might be homework for every one of us, no? To to find the antidote for this rejection of the word discipline.
Oh,
Especially in American, what Marisol was saying very beautifully, no? It is self-respect. But there is still that feeling of heaviness associated with it, a feeling of labor, a feeling of maybe even subservience or discipline as if imposed. That is fortunate because we're living in a society and in a culture where discipline is not valued. No, people snack the whole day, for example. There is not discipline even with timings of food, timings of eating, timings of drinking, timings of going to sleep. There's a time for everything. Timings of cooking. People eat anytime, anywhere, anyhow, with whatever, what life, But we need to churn on this and find ways. Chewing gum. I remember Brother Jagdish saw chewing gum, and he looked at it. First of all, it is not very healthy. But to any time, anyway, just be chewing, it is a sign of a fickle mind. The rhythms, the natural rhythms, but one needs to 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 see the royalty of discipline and the power of discipline, and to stop seeing discipline as something that you are subservient or subjugated or imposed. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear the mic? From bhakti, in the devotional background, we fear God and we also feel He can punish us or does or is angry with us, and He imposes things on us. So that deeper sense of love, everything He advises is to liberate you, actually. We need to continue with this another time because we past time. But some more excuses or carelessness, no? These royal forms of carelessness where we use Gyan to twist things. So, or we say, oh, Baba says, do not give sorrow. So I have to eat the food that they give me, for example. Or what is the other one? Baba say we need to be balanced. Yes, we need to be balanced, but we don't balance Ravan with angel, with Ram. So all these things. Another form is I don't have time. this is where we can also maybe grow in the understanding of discipline and structure, because it, we all have the same amount of time. Brother Ken was saying the other day, it's not a question of time, I don't have time. It is a question of priority. Where are your priorities? And you actually generate time if you use your time in the best way for the highest karma. You will see how things open up. Intellect becomes more refined. What will others say or what will others think? Brahmins or outside of the Brahmin world, these are all excuses. And I see for myself, sometimes you don't have the courage to stand for something that you truly feel is right, just because you are scared of the mouth of others. But we have to take a position against Ravan and for Baba. You don't have to do that loudly, but clearly. What will others think? What will others say if I don't abide by the social norms? Even within the Brahmin world, there are certain things that are being done out of culture or out of habit, not necessarily because they are based on soul conscious practices. So, do you have the courage to take a stand? All of these things, carelessness. We will elaborate more, but maybe for you also to start observing and experimenting and churning, to see, because it is the carelessness that doesn't allow us to make that big jump. Baba's antidote is now or never. And that truly is, because this moment in drama will not come back. So if you don't do the best now, it's never. You might do it tomorrow, maybe, but also tomorrow you are weaker because you have given in. So Ravan is stronger tomorrow. Now or never. So at least Baba's Maryadas, let us get it clear. And there is one Murli in which Baba said, to be perfect, you be perfect in the basics. Because if the basics are perfect, then whatever comes out of the basics will also have that quality. So simple things like Amrit Vela, Murli, the pure diet, the purity part in relationships and celibacy. If you get those few things absolutely right, everything else will also fall in place. Okay, let's close it.